Jersey's own Zach Gelb.
Or maybe it's Pennsylvania. Anyhow, it's one of the two, I'm pretty sure.
The Zach Gelb Show continues
On Fox Sports 920, The Jersey.
Welcome back, Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920, The Jersey. 609-919-9200 is the number if you want to call and hang with us. Velasquez versus Robbie Ray tonight in Arizona. Phillies go down yesterday. Aaron Nola did not pitch well as he exited the game against San Francisco. 3 1/3, 10 hits and 5 earned runs. Let's go out to the hotline, though, right now and welcome in a man that is the TV play-by-play voice for the Philadelphia Phillies, and that is Tom McCarthy. Tom, great to talk to you, and how are you?
Zach, I'm doing great. It's about 103 out here in Arizona, so we're toasty right now.
Wow, so shorts and a T-shirt tonight for the game?
Yeah, that would be appropriate. I mean, we were thinking about it, but we're going to go golf shirt because it's going to be temperate inside the dome.
Do you guys have like a good fan right in front of you, like one of those fans that like spray out some water? I would assume in the broadcast booth.
We have a fan, not on the road, but at home we do. Matt and Ben usually put one in to sort of to the right of them, so you kind of get it. Here, I mean, the roof is definitely going to be closed, so we'll be comfortable inside. But, yeah, we usually keep something close by.
Wow. So Tom McCarthy joins us right now, TV play-by-play voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. And Tom McCarthy actually once hosted a show on this station many years ago, so this is kind of like a homecoming for you.
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff on 920 over the years. It was always something. It was always a great place for me to do, whether it be high school games, college games, or even Thunder games. And then, of course, doing the radio show too was always. I love doing the radio show. I mean, it was one of the more fun things that I did during the course of my career. Just being able to, just to chat for 3 hours about anything going on in the world of sports.
So let's say if you were hosting this show today, what would have been your lead story? Because as you were telling me when I took this job, you got to incorporate both the New York and Philly market.
Well, I think you're twofold. I think that obviously you've probably you haven't had a chance really to talk about Jose Reyes signing with the Mets, so you probably have that off on a back burner about whether he deserves a second chance or not, which I think he does. But from a Philadelphia standpoint, Lindros going into the Hall of Fame is a big deal. Aaron Nola's outing yesterday is a big deal. And you probably could still talk about Ben Simmons being drafted with the first pick overall last week as part of the conversation. But I would think that if you're going to focus on, from a baseball standpoint, you focus on Nola and what he did yesterday and the fact that he's going to stay in the rotation, try to work this thing out. But I think you also try to, talk a little about Eric Lindros and, the fact that he's been selected into the Hall of Fame.
We're going to get to Lindros towards the end of the show, but yes, we did do the Nola and the Reyes stuff, so two great minds do think alike as we're talking to Tom McCarthy. So yesterday, I really thought that game changed entirely when Johnny Cueto decided to hit Maikel Franco, and I thought that was real reek, because on the other end of the side of the mound, you had a guy in Aaron Nola who had command issues, and he clearly wasn't throwing at the Giants players yesterday.
No, he clearly was not throwing. I mean, two of the hit-by-pitch were curveballs. The other one was a fastball, but it was a fastball that got away. And I get it. I understand that, that you're trying to protect your best player. I mean, Posey's one of the guys that gets hit. He gets hit with a curveball. And I understand what Cueto's doing. I just don't think – and I think Bruce Bochy even said it after the game that, that he knew Nola was not doing anything – on purpose, but I do get it from a baseball standpoint. I'm not shocked that it happened now that I think about it, but I think if you're Johnny Cueto of the Giants, I mean, you basically woke up the Phillies. Now they wound up winning the game, but he was not good yesterday, and this sort of led him to not be good. Is hitting Franco and opening up that inning to get a couple of runs.
And I heard McCann, and I played the audio a little bit earlier in the show. He talked about how he was proud of his team for the way that they went out there and competed after being down 5-1. I guess that's the big positive you take away yesterday in a year that's been very tough for the Phillies. That was a team yesterday that could have went down with no fight, but they elected to put up a fight.
Yeah, and I think that, this is the way they look those first 6 weeks, Zach, and now you hope that they can they can build on this. They seem to have figured some things out after struggling on that last homestand too. The Arizona Diamondbacks just swept them in 4 games, and the Diamondbacks are not the kind of team that should sweep anybody at this point, but they did. But I think that they've kind of figured some things out. So hopefully they come into Arizona and win the series. It's been a while since they last won a series, but hopefully they can get into Arizona and win a series this week.
So to you, what's going on with Nola? Why has he been so bad the last 4 starts?
Just from looking at it, it's mechanical more than anything else. I think his curveball, he has a tendency to get under his curveball, and I think he's doing that an awful lot. He talks about being too fast coming into coming toward home plate, and I think that has something to do with it. Velocity is fine. His velocity before these last 4 starts was 90.3 on average, and these last 4 starts is 90.9. So it's not down. It's actually up a hair. So his arm is fine. He said he's healthy. I just think it's a mechanical thing, and hopefully he'll be able to figure out. Zach, he's a really bright kid, and sometimes that doesn't always dictate that you're going to figure it out quickly, but I think he's got a pretty good grip on things. I do think it's in his head right now, as it would be with any young pitcher, and I think it's just trying to figure that out and get it out of his head. It's
mechanics and it's also confidence, and he talked about the
I
confidence
think it is.
after the game.
I think it definitely is. I think he's definitely, like any pitcher. He's had rough goes from time to time, but this is pretty much the biggest. This is the biggest rut that he's been in.
Would you send him down or skip him?
No, I wouldn't. I might skip him, but I wouldn't send him down. I thought about that. I was talking to somebody about that today. I would definitely not send him down. I think he could figure it out with Bob McClure here. Would I skip him? That's not a bad idea. You could do that because you have the off day coming up on Thursday. So, you have that option to do it if you choose to. I think they're going to just let him go through his bullpen. If they feel like he's kind of adjusted some things, then I think that they'll let him go. I don't think it's something that warrants him being demoted yet. Now, he could, but I think Bob McClure and Rick Kranitz have a better idea of how to fix him up here, and I think that's what they're going to try to do.
What do you expect out of Velasquez tonight as he returns?
I don't expect a pitch limit. He probably will be at 80 pitches, maybe 85 pitches. But I think this is a huge start for him, and I think for the Phillies too. They need him to be what he was those first 5 or 6 starts. The batting average is way up over his last 2 major league starts or 3 major league starts. They need him to be dominant. I think. Zach, they haven't had a complete game shutout or anything like that to sort of take the pressure off everybody. And I know that's a lot of pressure to put on a pitcher, but man, oh man, it would be great to see him go 7 innings tonight or 6 innings tonight. The Phillies have a comfortable lead, and they can have a non-pressure 7th, 8th, or 9th inning.
Last week we had on Curt Schilling, and we were talking to him about the starting pitching, and he said that he thinks they need to add another veteran arm in that rotation just to help these kids in between starts. Do you believe that the Phillies maybe at the deadline should go out there and acquire another veteran starting pitcher?
Boy, that's an interesting approach. I don't know. I think that they're going to wind up trading the only veteran starting pitcher they have in Jeremy Hellickson. At the beginning of the year, they did have that with Hellickson and Charlie Morton, and the hope was just what Curt was saying, that these guys could sort of be a foundation piece. So Morton getting hurt obviously ended that, and he's out for the year. But no, I don't think so. I do think in the offseason, if there's pitching out there that might be enticing, they may go after it. But I don't think it's going to be anything that they would do at the trade deadline. I think if they do anything at the trade deadline, it's trading somebody like Jeremy Hellickson and maybe bringing in some more talents. Somebody made a good comparison. I think it was Ryan Lawrence made a comparison today to last year when the Wood guy was traded to the Giants from the Cincinnati Reds, and they got Adam Duvall in that trade. Duvall is tearing it up right now offensively. So something like that would be, appropriate. I think if at the trade deadline is maybe bringing in some more young players than bringing in another veteran guy.
We're talking to Tom McCarthy, who joins us right now, the TV play-by-play voice for the Philadelphia Phillies. Watch him all the time on Comcast Sportsnet. This is the Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. We talk about the confidence of the pitchers. How are the confidence of Franco and Joseph as they've been up and down throughout this course of the season?
I think Tommy's fine. I really do. I think that he's got a real good piece to him as far as what his role is and what he's doing right now. So I think he's fine. I think he needs some more hits just to kind of get things rolling again. But I think upstairs in his head, I think everything that has happened to him has caused him to have a really good perspective on things. I think Franco is just trying to do way too much. His swing I mean, he's swinging out of his shoes, basically. And I think that he's got to find that happy medium somewhere. Where is it? I don't know. I mean, but I think he's got to be able to, to find the left center field and right center field gap more than anything else. And defensively, I do think he's taking his offense onto the field a little bit. But I still think that he's, this is a point of adjustment for him, and I think he will adjust and figure it out as the season moves on.
And we'll also see in the offensive end what players can keep it up over the course of the 162. But Borges, my 11 hits in the last 6 games. He's been really impressive and fun to watch.
Yeah, he has. His numbers since the 1st of May, we were going over them yesterday. He's been a normal guy since the 1st of May. He hit under 200 in April, and then May and now June, he's kind of found something. And I do think that he feels like he should have caught that ball yesterday in right field, but it's a very difficult right field to play. But I think he's been good defensively, too, and I think that's a good thing because, Kurt was talking about a veteran presence as far as the pitching goes. Well, I mean, you hope that you can find a veteran presence, or he's providing a veteran presence as far as the position players go. A little stability. I think there is a chance that he gets more time in center field, and Odubel might look to play a little right field too. But I do think he's, I think he's kind of found a nice groove right now offensively.
Let's get into the division. You have a big matchup tonight between the Nationals and the Mets, and the Mets are 3 games back of the Nationals. Nationals haven't been playing so great as of late, and the Mets just can't hit right now. They haven't been able to hit all season. In the earlier part of the season, they were getting a lot of those solo home runs, but right now the Mets just have some putrid bats in their lineup. So who are you leaning towards to win that division, as the Mets have the starting pitching but not the bats?
Well, it's funny. I think health is a huge issue for both of these teams. I wouldn't sleep on the Marlins, and I know that sounds strange, but offensively, I like them better than both teams, than the Nationals and than the Mets. Pitching-wise, they're a little shorter than those two teams. I think the Nationals are going to win the division. I think they may win it by default more than anything else. But don't sleep on the Marlins, Zach. I think I do like them. Their biggest issue is games against the Phillies and games against the Braves. They just can't seem to beat either one of these teams, and that's really been a big issue for them. But I like this. I mean, this series is cool. I mean, the fact that Strasburg's on the DL and Matz is battling a sore elbow and Syndergaard has a sore elbow, and that's surrounding him, and there's still, the Matt Harvey stuff as to whether his command or his mechanics are where they need to be. It's an intriguing series, but I think the Nationals are going to wind up winning 2 of 3 in this series.
And it's funny that you mentioned the Marlins, just because I was reading something yesterday that expect them to be active at the trade deadline, and I always usually think of the Marlins as a team that always makes trades and try to get rid of all their talent, compared to a team that usually acquires a lot of talent.
Yeah, I mean, they have a pretty good farm system, so maybe that's why people think they might do it. I do think that they need, they need a pitcher, just to kind of to help, Jose Fernandez and some of those young guys. And they do have some players that they could, trade for that pitcher. I don't know if they'll do it or not, but they could be active. I mean, Ichiro has been unbelievable for them, and that's huge. And I think some of those other role players have been very good for them too. But offense, I mean, from a pitching standpoint, I still think they're going to need a little bit more to match up with everybody else.
And what was your take, by the way, on the whole Ichiro thing 2 weeks back when he passed Pete Rose when you take the hits combined from Japan and America?
Well, I think that he's had a wonderful career, and I think that if he played in America his entire career, he probably would be pressing 4,000 hits or 3,500 hits at this point, if not beyond that. I mean, but Pete is the all-time hit leader. I think everybody realizes that Japanese baseball is a wonderful league, but it's not of the level of Major League Baseball. So, do I think Ichiro would have done this in the States? I think he would have been pretty darn close, honestly, to what he did over in Japan, if not the equivalent. But he didn't, So he's had a wonderful career. He's going to be the first Japanese player in the Hall of Fame, and that's going to be an unbelievable day. And I don't think he's done. I mean, he says he wants to play till he's 50. I think he's going to play at least one more year, and I think we enjoy it while we get a chance to see it.
You mentioned the Hall of Fame, and there's no doubt about it. Ichiro's going to be a Hall of Famer. Pete Rose, though, that's still up in the air. Will he ever get in the Hall of Fame, you think?
I think he will, Zach, because I don't think he'll get out of his own way, to be honest with you. I think that's the biggest problem with Pete. Now, he may after he passes from this earth, But I just don't think he will. I mean, do I think he should be? Yes, I do, but I don't know. I don't think he will because, the gambling part of baseball, when you gamble on baseball, and I think everybody's in agreement that he gambled on baseball when he was a manager and probably when he was a player. It's in every clubhouse. I mean, it's the biggest rule in the clubhouse, and he violated it. And I don't think the owners or the writers will forgive him for that.
Now, before we let you go on, as we're talking to Tom McCarthy, who joins us right now on the Zach Gelb Show, you said you had no problem with the Mets signing Reyes. So why is that?
Because I think everybody deserves a second chance, and if Major League Baseball feels like he's gone through the right programs and protocol, then I think that if he's getting the help he needs, he's admitted that he's made a mistake, and his wife is still with him. I think he deserves another chance. I mean, do I think he's going to amount to anything? I don't think so. I mean, I think he'll help, and he'll probably be a leadoff hitter for them. But he's nowhere near the Reyes that was with the Mets before. I mean, he's nowhere near the Reyes that was with the Marlins for that year after being with the Mets. But I do think I think it's fine. I mean, I think that if he followed the protocol, and if he's gone through all the treatments, and and has met the standards of Major League Baseball, then I think that there's no reason that anybody shouldn't give him another chance.
Tom, please do me a favor. Stay cool out there in Arizona. We appreciate a few minutes today.
That's right. I will. Thanks, Zach.